I'm so exhausted. I'm highly sensitive and I'm parenting two young children. I find myself just blowing up sometimes or just crying. My husband works long hours, so it's just me all day with them. Even when the older one goes to preschool, I'm feeling pretty sucked dry by the toddler. I get that. I try to be sure we have a full schedule of activities to keep the kids entertained. I'm kind of at the end of my rope. Help. This is the next one. How do I stay calm with my kids when I feel so angry or tired or overwhelmed? These two parents are, the first one's a mom. These two parents are expressing the same thing. I call this parenting while sensitive. It's sort of like a DUI, maybe parenting under the influence of sensitivity. Gosh, it's so hard. So, and I really want to recognize that the easy solutions sometimes feel like they're going to cost too much money. And I'm going to make some recommendations, and I want to be really aware that we have to be very creative about resources in families that don't have enough financial resources to have the childcare that they need. And sometimes childcare, preschool, school is overwhelming. It's overwhelming for that 7th grader. It's overwhelming for the 10-year-old, and it's overwhelming for the young children as well. And so it's a mixed blessing. You may get your child home from school and be ready to spend some quality time with them because you've rested up, and you discover that they're completely overstimulated from school and really challenging. And where is that quality time? Okay. It starts with this, parents. Self-care, timeouts. What do you do to truly replenish yourself when you have a moment? One of the things that a lot of parents have discovered is that it takes getting up an hour before the kids. Now, some of these kids get up an hour before everyone else, and I'm not saying that you have to race to be up at 4 a.m. to beat them by an hour. But having some time to yourself whenever it is. I think in my household, I had an early riser. A lot of times that time for me was in the night after he went to bed, because we did very early bedtimes. And this is a great way to get some time to yourself. For young children, it's completely appropriate to put them to bed at 7 p.m. and to have all of the time basically from getting out of school until bedtime be a structured ritual heading in that direction. Nobody's asking about the parent who's out working all day if there's one that needs time with the kids. So I'm not going to address that issue right now, but I have in other places, and I'm happy to another time. So what do you do for your self-care? Do you go outside? Do you hike, exercise, meditate? The reason it's so exhausting is because these kids are very intense in one way or another. Intensity is a different temperament from sensitivity, but being highly sensitive has with it a component of intensity. Raising them is challenging, and most of us didn't sign up for it. Maybe you did genetically because, like me, your parents are sensitive, you're highly sensitive. Maybe you even married someone who's highly sensitive, and of course you have a highly sensitive child or 2 or 3. But for the most part, even if your children are not highly sensitive, parenting can be overwhelming. In fact, the research shows that highly sensitive parents rate their lives and their homes as more chaotic than parents who are not highly sensitive. They find their job as a parent more overwhelming. And they do also acknowledge that they are doing a really conscientious job of parenting. Now, there's a little confusion in the research, and in Alane Aaron's new book coming out in April, The Highly Sensitive Parent. I recommend that you get it and read it. I will be. She says that the researchers who said that highly sensitive parents find their home more chaotic, they thought initially that the home of a highly sensitive parent was more chaotic. It's actually not the case. They are chaotic at the same percentage as homes of people who are not parents who are not highly sensitive. But the highly sensitive parent was better at recognizing the chaos or the stress, so they reported it more often. But when an objective observer, a scientific observer, went into the home and rated it for chaos, the homes were not more chaotic in the highly sensitive parents. It's just that we felt they were. And being in chaos is exhausting. Creating structure in your life and in the children's lives is absolutely critical for preventing overwhelm as a parent. It's not that you can't be creative, but it's very important that you know what's coming next so that you can prepare. I'll never forget when I had a young child, I would feel so overbooked all the time. And one time, a therapist suggested to me, therapist Heal Thyself, that she said that I needed to put the time it took to drive all the places I drive in my calendar because I was in denial about how long it would take. And so I was always overbooked, and I didn't even realize it. Even my self-care, getting a massage or going for a hike or spending time with my horse, all of those things would add to my overwhelm. It was a terrible thing.